You know, having a guide dog is fantastic. He's helping me be more independent, walk a lot faster, and making sure I don't run into stuff. But there are a lot more responsibilities to having a guide dog than simply walking around your neighborhood and not running into a mailbox. What's up, VIPs? Derek here, back with another video, and like I said, I love having a guide dog. Koa is fantastic. He's smart, he's kind, he's social, he's wonderful, but he's more than just a mobility tool. He's a dog, and there's lots of other responsibilities to having a guide dog because he's a dog. Hey, if you're new around here, well, welcome. My name is Derek, and if you want to learn more about living your life to the fullest as a visually impaired person or a sighted supporter, well, go ahead and get started by hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you don't miss another single video. Now, it sort of seems obvious that you got to take care of the dog, but when people decide to get a guide dog, they're like, oh, it's going to be great. He's going to help me walk. He's going to help me do all these wonderful things. And there's lots of other things to consider when getting a dog. So today, I want to talk about just a few of the responsibilities that you'll probably have when getting a guide dog. And let's start with one of the responsibilities that's, well, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. All right, so first, one of the things you have to do when you have a guide dog is take it out to relieve. So you got to go out and relieve. Now, my dog goes on the concrete because that's how they trained him, which is actually very nice because then I can take him to a parking lot or, something like that, and he'll still go. There we go. So taking a dog out to relieve is just as glamorous as it sounds. They're gonna pee, they're gonna poop, you're gonna have to pick it up. It's just how it goes. But having a guide dog, again, is more than just, walking around with guide dog. It's having to make sure you take care of the dog. So let's see, my dog's gonna search around, and there we go. He's gonna have to do it. So, quick tip on picking up poop, if you've never done it before, is you find a bag, you open it up, you put your hand inside the bag, like so. And I always, when he starts going, I always point my foot at the back of the dog, so then my foot's pointing at the poop. So then when I'm ready to go, I can bend down, I can pick up this apparent huge pile, I sweep around, make sure I get it all, then you take it, you turn it inside out, and you're good to go. So that's the first thing you gotta do. Other responsibility you have when having a guide dog. Come on, Koa, let's go. All right, so next up, you've got to take care of your dog by feeding and watering it every day. So I tend to give, let me make sure this water isn't too loud. Okay, I tend to give Koa a certain amount of water. He doesn't drink a lot, but I try to give him a certain amount every day so that, he doesn't thirst to death. You can see our podcast setup over here. We just recorded a podcast, so we're talking about relationships. Anyway, I don't know when that's coming out. But back in here, we've got his dog food, and his food's in a container right here, and that keeps it airtight so that it stays fresh and so forth. So you got to make sure to feed and water your dog. As always, make sure you check with your guide dog school and know how much to feed them. Keep track of their weight and go to the vet, all that sort of thing, because you don't want them too heavy, because they need to be, as the vet said from Guide Dogs for the Blind, lean, mean, fighting machine. So make sure you feed and water your dog every single day. All right, so the next thing, other responsibilities you have when having a guide dog is grooming your dog. Listen, dogs shed. No way around it. Dogs are going to shed. But if you groom them on a regular basis, that's going to help with the shedding process, and it's going to make them look nice, smell better. It's going to make sure they don't get all matted and so forth. Because you're taking them in public places, you want to make sure that you're taking care of them. So a couple tips on grooming. First of all, the dog is moving too much. This brush that kind of looks like a dog toy is called a Zoom Groom. It's rubber, and the way I always like to use it is to rub around like in circles on the dog. And what that does is get some of that loose hair to the top, gets it going, kind of gets the hair underneath up to the top as well. So use that in circular motions, longer than I'm doing right now because this is just for video sake. And then I also use what's called a slicker brush. And the slicker brush is one that's going to pull out that hair from the top and even from underneath as well. So if you use that all along, I even like to get his tail. Come here. I'll get his tail like this, and do that, get the top of his head, get his sides, all that sort of thing. So, and then yeah, he'll usually do that. So then you're gonna have hair in that thing, and I have a comb in my bag, and I'll comb that out and throw it out into the yard and let the wind take it. So groom them on a regular basis is so important, because you want to make them look nice and smell nice. And that brings me right into another responsibility you'll have as a guide dog owner, and that's to play with your dog. So let me get a toy here. Maybe somewhere, there it is. Now, yes, you can see my dog's already going nuts. So I'm gonna throw this out. So playing with your dog is really important. I'm gonna walk out here in the yard. It's really important because your dog needs to have mental stimulation, he needs to have physical stimulation, he needs to have fun, all that stuff, and playing is a great way to do that. Let me see if I can get him back over here. Koa! Koa! Good boy, good boy, good boy. So, if you like, good job. So playing with your dog is really helpful. You can do tug of war, you can do fetch, different things like that. He just likes to run around the yard and eat grass, but it's really fun. So go. So make sure you take time to play with your dog and get them engaged other than just the guide work they do, because they like to have fun as well. Go on. Come on. Good boy, good boy, good boy. You dropped the ball. Good boy. Go get it. So that's a few of the things I could sort of show you as far as responsibilities go, but there are others. For example, making sure they have proper medication like heartworm and flea and tick, depending on your area. You want to make sure to give that every single week. Quick tip for you, set a reminder on your phone to go off on the 1st of every month, and that way you'll never forget to give them their flea and tick medication. Making sure they go to the vet on a regular basis. Maybe they just need a yearly checkup. However, if they need to go to the vet because they're experiencing something wrong, you're going to have to take them. Perhaps your school provides a little bit of financial assistance, maybe not, but even if it doesn't, you still have to take them to the vet and make sure that they're taken care of, their weight's good, they're healthy, all that sort of thing. You got to take them to the vet. Another thing is to make sure that they are comfortable. Now, I don't mean you need to pamper them. I mean that, you got to have a place for them, getting them a crate, a bed, something of that nature, making sure that they are not freezing to death, laying on a basement floor, something of that nature. You want to make sure that they're taken care of. This also might apply to buying them toys or treats or other such things. And speaking of which, you got to buy stuff. You got to spend money because your dog has to eat. It doesn't need a whole lot, but it does have to eat. That's one cost you definitely have. And you're inevitably going to have to buy other things as well. So spending money is another responsibility. One other thing that you have to think about is, as I mentioned, dogs shed, and you want to make sure to vacuum and sweep and such. Because, look, if you have a family, you can all be part of it, but you have to make sure that hair gets taken up and taken somewhere, put it in the trash can and so forth. So you're going to have to take care of the hair. Dog shed, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So keeping that in mind. So there are tons of other responsibilities you have when having a guide dog. He's more than just a mobility tool. He's a best friend. He's a partner. He's a companion, all those sort of things. And he has to be taken care of just like a dog would be. Now, maybe that means, you know what? A guide dog's not for me. And that's okay. Nobody said you have to have a guide dog. However, if you want to get a guide dog, don't forget that it's more than just walking down the street, not running into stuff. It's making sure that they are well taken care of so that they can take care of you. Well, that about wraps it up. If you liked today's video, make sure to hit the big thumbs up button down below this video and share it out with somebody that you know. And like I said, if you are new around here and you want to learn more about this whole sight loss life thing, well, go ahead and get started and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss another single video. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are. And remember, sight loss isn't the end, it's just the beginning. My name's Derek Daniel from lifeaftersightloss.com, and I'll see you in the next one.